You know what? No. We'll have a little blue ambiance here. A sad day for us. What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, and EA has done it again. Just when you thought this would have never happened, just when you thought that it was a one and done, we would never see this situation happen again, especially with EA. Here we are sitting here on early January 2019, and EA has officially canceled another Star Wars game. The open world game that we will talk about in a little bit here, why it's so significant about this specific game that got canceled. But it has been reported by Jason Schreier. You know, he is a very, very good writer over there at Kotaku, and definitely has his credibility, has his sources and everything, and I do trust his word. Whatever he says usually in the industry is very much something that happens in the industry, so he definitely has, you know, his backing, definitely has his merit there. And he says that he has 3 people that are very familiar with the ongoings of EA Vancouver and the studio in itself, and they have all told him and said to him that this game has officially been shut down and canceled in terms of development of this studio, of EA Vancouver, of the EA open world Star Wars game that I really wanted. But you know, it's all good. I mean, it's not all good, but let's get into some nitty-gritty details here. So if you remember, back in October 2017, that infamous day when EA closed Visceral, that was a huge thing, a big deal in the industry. A lot of people were very much upset about that. Them, of course, they made Dead Space and stuff like that. Very, very prominent people in the industry, and for EA to just, you know, close their doors, just cancel them, was just crazy to see, and was crazy to, you know, even so remember and think back how big of a deal that was. But you know, they were developing this, you know, single player driven, narrative driven game that was directed by the legendary Amy Hennig. Of course, she helped helm and helped build the Uncharted series as it is today. She was not part of Uncharted 4, but she did the original trilogy 1, 2, and 3. Definitely had a, you know, lot to say in that, and definitely sculpted Uncharted to what it was, and that is my favorite gaming series of all time. So definitely I owe a lot to her personally, because she's just an amazing director when it comes to games, just based off of Uncharted. So to have her on a game that is with one of, you know, I don't really put Star Wars in my favorite movies of all time, just because I kind of separate Star Wars and my favorite movies, just because it's just Star Wars is just its own thing to me. Like, it's just completely biased for me to lump that into my favorite movies of all time. Empire Strikes Back is amazing, but beside the point, you know, to have Amy Hennig, a you know, huge component, a huge director in one of my favorite gaming series, to then be put on a project with one of my favorite movies of all time, movie series, movie sagas, movie stories of all time, I was in. I was ready to go. Let's do it. Let's go. But then, of course, EA canceled it. RIP Visceral Games. But the thing was that they then replaced this, you know, single player driven Amy Hennig story that they were originally working on with Star Wars. Then they made it into this multiplayer open world type of game that they were going to be moving forward in development for. And that was because they just said that they essentially said, like, the market was looking more for a game that would be of that kind of caliber, of that open world, you know, ever changing multiplayer, all that good stuff, you know what I'm saying? So that's why they kind of pivoted that project and canceled, you know, that game and closed Visceral Games. Sad story, all the good stuff. But out of that, we were getting this other concept of, you know, the Star Wars game. And, you know, I of course would rather have that narrative story that was told by Amy Hennig any day over some really cool multiplayer open world game. But I thought, hey, you know, maybe a really cool open world multiplayer Star Wars game could be really good, could be really cool, you know, because if you think to all the different locations that you could go to, etc., all that different stuff that you can go into in the overall Star Wars universe, I thought it'd be pretty cool. You know, we could maybe get a really good game out of this, but we go here today and it's been canceled. And really, you know, we probably should have seen something or known something was up, just because of how silent they've been about this game and how they really didn't show anything publicly that we've got of this game, and let alone of the original game that was in development, the one with Amy Hennig and the narrative-driven Star Wars story. That only got like concept art, I think, and you know, it was just, both of these have been very, very much early projects. And so I think this game right now is really at a difficult standpoint, you know, that we'll talk about a little bit later, and that's that, you know, this overall project has spanned 2, now almost 3 iterations. It's expensive, you know, but, you know, beside the point, it's been canceled, it's not coming out. However, that's not really the full story, and that's not really necessarily true at all. I mean, not at all. It is true that it is canceled, but there is some other to this, you know, there's some other components to this whole thing as well. So Jason Schreier updated the article as of 10/17, which was about half an hour ago as of this recording, and really why I kind of say, okay, let me go make this video because I really want to talk about this. You know, he says here that the project was codenamed Orca. It was in very early development, but would involve playing as a scoundrel or a bounty hunter who could explore various open world planets and work with different factions across the Star Wars universe. And so I'm just like, dude, that would have been really fun. That would have been really cool. I like that idea. I really dig it. You know, following this scoundrel. Maybe like the reason why they, you know, he said scoundrel or bounty hunter. Maybe you could have picked, you know, which one you were going to be, or maybe he was just using it as just you are the scoundrel / bounty hunter, you know, type character, and saying it like that. Or maybe it was going to be 2 paths that you could choose and stuff like that. That would have been great. I would have loved to play a scoundrel, you know, and explore different Star Wars environments and stuff like that in the open world, you know, type of game and everything. But we're not getting it, so it's all good. Codename Orca. But there's more to this, okay? He says, quote, when EA's top decision makers looked at their roadmap for the next few years, they decided that they needed something earlier than the planned release date for Orca, according to 2 people that were familiar with what happened. So they canceled Orca in favor of a smaller scale Star Wars project that's now aimed for much sooner, likely late 2020, with what happens to be around the same time that I've heard next-gen consoles will launch. So that's kind of where we're at here. So the word right now is that EA, you know, canceled this open world Star Wars game, which we know is canceled, but in turn they are now making a much smaller scale game that is set to release in late 2020, and we don't really have any other details as opposed to just it's a smaller scaled Star Wars game, which I don't know what that could mean. I don't know if that's, I mean, I don't know what that could mean really. I have no idea. I don't know. Like, I'm assuming maybe they are going to use some of the assets from this open world game that they were developing, because of course, I don't know how they could turn this around, you know, this quick and have a release date of next fall, next fall of next year, to have this quick of a turnaround of a game like this. But I guess we'll see, and that's what I'm assuming. Like, they are definitely going to be using the assets from the open world game, but there's a little bit more here as well. To EA's credit, those people said the publisher did not lay anyone off as a part of this transition. This news comes at a time of cost cutting across the industry at some major publishers, including both EA and Activision, as we reported. Some at the studio also hope that Orca might be restarted after this new project is finished. So it's not that this open world game, this Orca, you know, game, that's the codename of it, is necessarily done for good. It's just done for now, at least from what they say here in the you know, EA, you know, comment that Jason Schreier got. So it looks like they still have faith that this game will eventually be made. Orca, the open world Star Wars game, will eventually be made, but I guess just right now they need something that's gonna be super short, a super short Star Wars project, and maybe they can, you know, maybe this could be good. You know, if we're playing devil's advocate here, maybe this could be something that, hey, let's not bite off something, you know, that we can't chew, that being the open world game, and let's make something that's a little more, you know, just small scale, and let's see if we can tune our systems that we will eventually put in the open world game. That could very much well be a thing. Who knows? And now that I see it, it definitely does make sense that this smaller scale Star Wars project would be coming out so soon, you know, as in late 2020, like really right around the corner, you know. So it looks like that kind of does make sense, because if you look at the timeline here, they got the new EA open world Star Wars game rolling in 2017. October 2017 is when Visceral closed down, right? So they've had the end of that year, 2017, all of 2018, and now we're at the beginning of 2019. So it's not like they didn't do anything for a full year. Like, they were definitely in development and stuff, and definitely were working on things. So my thought is hopefully what they were working on is just going to be used for the smaller Star Wars project to get that out a little bit faster, as well as then the open world, which I hope will eventually get made and do that whole thing. But I don't know, this is just insane news to me personally. I'm still like, I never thought they would actually cancel this, like, especially after the backlash they got from Visceral and doing that whole thing and stuff like that. So guys, I just want a Star Wars game, okay? And I know we still have Respawn's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Of course, that was on my top 10 anticipated games of 2019. Make sure to go check out that episode of Cross Circle, first one in the new year. Link in the description. You can check out that, podcast, all the good stuff. Make sure to go support us on there. But I am very much looking forward still to Respawn's Star Wars game, the Jedi Fallen Order. So we'll see how that pans out. But let me know what you guys see in the comments below. What do you guys think about all this news? This is big stuff here. Obviously, we will talk a little bit more about it in the end of the week with Save Slot if we have any other new things that come of this story. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Are you happy that this got canceled? Are you one of those that did not want an open world Star Wars game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, to check out our description where you can find the Instagram and Twitter follows in there. Make sure to also check out our description as well for that Discord. Make sure to go join that Discord server. We are definitely in there chilling, definitely hanging out, have a lot of game chat. We're talking about this as well today, so definitely go check out that Discord in the description down below. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.